Hey everyone. So today we are gonna work on the Magnum, and obviously we're in the Magnum. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go for a little test drive, and I'm gonna see if I can get the camera to pick up the shutter that I have, just so you can maybe see if it's similar to the way yours is acting, and then I'm gonna go through the steps that I'm gonna do to try to fix it. So for now, we're gonna go for a little test drive and see if we can get this shutter on camera, and then I'll go back and watch it and see if you can even see the shutter that I'm talking about. All right, guys, this is the last chance. This little hill right here, it's warmer than it's been today, hence why I'm working on the car today. The only thing I can think is maybe it doesn't do it as bad when it's warm. So far, we haven't really, felt it a little here or there, but I haven't got it to get really bad. So right here, I'm just gonna hold steady pressure on the throttle, and as we go up this hill, yeah, it was perfectly smooth. So that leads to another problem of how am I going to verify I got it fixed? Hey everyone, well, so we are back here. Magnum is up on some ramps, and we're getting ready to service the transmission. So I'm going to do this a little different. I'm not going to record a bunch of time lapses. I'm going to kind of go step by step what I'm going to do and see how that goes. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jack this up and try to get it pretty level. And the reason I'm doing that is, if you don't know about NAG1s, they made it so it's somewhat difficult to check the oil in them. You have to hook it up to a scanner, look at the temperature, get it parked level, read the temperature, put a special dipstick in that doesn't stay in, that is like one you have to buy that's made for it, and then measure the level and look at the chart. And I did that when I was in Colorado when I got this back together, so the level's right, doesn't look like it's leaking, so I'm assuming the level is still right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it level. I'm going to check the level with my special marked dipstick, and I'll show you that when I get it out. And I'm going to record where it's at before I start, shut off, sitting here parked, and then in the exact same spot, I'm going to fill it back up to the same point, just as my initial level, and then I will have to get the scanner out and look at the and redo it all again. But to get it close, I'm going to do that. And I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's how I'm going to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this jacked up, get it on jack stands so that I can get under it and work on it. Okay, well, so we got it all jacked up. I don't know how level that looks to you, but it looks pretty level to me, so we're going to run with it. Again, pretty close. Doesn't really matter because I'm not taking the final reading here. It's just so I can get it close. Remember, I always give it the shake test to make sure it's not going to fall over while you're under there. So let me get under here and show you guys what we're going to do today. All right, so here we are, our NAG1 transmission pan. As you can see, looks like there are 6 bolts around the outside. I'm not 100% sure how these attach to the pan just yet. Maybe some sort of like clip. like just clamps it on there. I'm not sure. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the front ones loose, take the center ones out, and then loosen the back ones and try to tip the transmission pan to the back and drain the fluid out of the back and not all over the carpet. It's probably not gonna go that well. It always sounds good in theory, never seems to work out for me in practice, but we're gonna give it a shot, and I'll show you guys what we find in the pan along with whatever mess we make on my carpet down here. All right, so here's our fancy dipstick tool. As you can see, it is Dorman part number 917327. I picked this one up at AutoZone, I think, or O'Reilly. Anybody can probably get it for you. But I'm gonna leave it in there because it's kind of unruly. But as you can see, it's upside down. As you can see, this is nothing more, well, maybe you can see. All right, there we go. Nope, it was there for a second. It had it for just, let me move my hand out of the shot. Let's see if it'll, there we go. So as you can see, it's, trust me, it's calibrated. It's got measurements on it that give you the depth of your fluid level in the pan. And there you go. As you can see, it's got just it's millimeters, and then in the package here, the wind is blowing like crazily, so hopefully you can hear me. It's been pretty good with this microphone setup. So in the package you get instructions. So it tells you what chart to use based on the model of your transmission and the year of your vehicle. And I know that I have a NAG1 W5A 580 transmission. It's a 2005 Magnum. I believe both the all-wheel drive and the rear-wheel drive have the same transmission. So then we need to use chart A. Can you see that right there? Chart A. So if we open this other one up, we can see that chart A is for the NAG1 transmission. And the fluid level at 70 degrees needs to be between, what's that, about 20 or 19 and 29 millimeters. And then as we go up in temperature, the level rises, and I can't believe it changes that much. From 70, it's about between 20 and 30 basically, up to at 180 or 160, which is going to be pretty close to operating temperature probably, is between well, I'm having a hard time with the wind. 160 is between like 55 or so and 65 or so. So there's a pretty tight tolerance. I know it's very important that you get the transmission level right on these. So we're going to start by sticking the dipstick in there. It's not running, and this needs to be checked. If you're going off that chart, it needs to be checked while it's running. I believe in neutral, not in park, but the instructions are in there. We're doing this as a reference to figure out the level that we're going to put it back to once we change it. Kind of hard to do things one-handed here. This thing is locked. They need to build the transmission out of this plastic. Okay. All right. Well, camera's done freaking out. Sorry, guys. So what we're going to do, if your vehicle is equipped with it, right back there next to the cover here, you can see I've got this little plug in there. And if I can get to focus on the plug, for dealer use only. So the dealer wants you to bring this in and have them check your transmission fluid, but we're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is, it's nice and cool. It's been a couple hours since we drove it. You just push this in until it bottoms out on the pan. Okay, once it's bottomed out on the pan, you bring it back out. And we're going to look at the level on here. And get it up close maybe. Come on, focus. Focus. There's my hand. Why doesn't it want to focus? We'll go out there and look at the view of the trees. Maybe that'll help. Okay. Anyway, I'll just tell you guys that right now the transmission is at about 80 millimeters. As you can see, the fluid doesn't look absolutely terrible, but it's not great either. There in that shot you can kind of see it was sitting right at 80 millimeters. So that's where we're going to put it back to after we drain the fluid out of it, and that'll be our starting point so that we can get it warmed up, drive it, and get it up to operating temperature so we can check it properly when we're all done. I'm going to go ahead and get under the car and start work on getting the pan off, get the oil drained out so we can take a look at the inside of the pan and the filter and see just how bad a shape our transmission is in. All right, so as you can see, maybe. Oh, as you can see, I got the pan out. A little bit of a mess there in the front, but really, considering how much fluid is in that, I think I did pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the result. But let me tell you a little tip. One, I really like the way these new pan gaskets are because it doesn't get stuck, so you don't have to pry the pan off. That's how you usually get a face full of transmission fluid, is trying to get the pan loose to drain it. But what I would recommend is take the back bolts loose, maybe, or take the center bolts loose, I don't know, a half a turn or so, and then about double that on the back bolts, 1 turn loose on the back bolts, leave the front ones snug, and that'll let the pan down enough to start draining the fluid out of the back of it so you can control where the leak's at, because that's all you're doing. You're not draining it, you're just controlling the leak and trying to get it to leak into the pan. Let that go for, I don't know, took a couple of minutes, maybe 5-6 minutes, and it'll leak down to the level of the pan. And then go ahead and hold your pan up and take the rest of your bolts loose. And then once it's all loose, try to lower the pan down into your drain pan without making a big mess. As you can see, it started to tip forward and I spilled a little bit there, but I'm pretty happy with it. I was expecting a much bigger oil spot on the carpet when I got done pulling this out. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the pan pulled out, get it up on the table so we can take a look and see what we find in the pan. I'm gonna be honest, I'm starting to get a little bit worried that this is not gonna be my problem, because I am not kidding. No joke, no YouTube magic here. That's what the pan looked like when I just pulled it out from underneath the car. I can't believe how clean the inside of this pan is. Maybe it was recently serviced. I don't know, the oil doesn't look that great, but it doesn't look terrible either. So as you can see, I mean, that magnet, it has some stuff on it, but it's really not that bad. I was expecting it to be a lot worse than that. So I would say this transmission's in pretty good shape. Let me get the white part of this rag here and dip it in the fluid so you can see. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. It's kind of brown, not really bright red. I don't know what color it's supposed to be. I'm assuming bright red. I believe ATF plus 4 usually is. So I'm going to say that the oil is probably pretty close to original. I'm getting transmission fluid all over my workbench here. But I mean, I really can't say that I'm upset with how that looks. So I'm going to get the pan all cleaned up and then get the filter changed. I'll bring you under there and show you what that looks like once I get under there, and then we'll get this put back together. This is the rebuild kit I'm using here. It's a Power Torque automatic transmission filter kit. I said rebuild service kit, it's just a filter kit, doesn't rebuild anything. But part number for this car is FK326. Looking at the filter here, it doesn't appear to have any bolts, just a O-ring there, and it just pops in there. We'll use a little bit of the leftover fluid down here to lubricate that O-ring. Probably would be recommended to get new fluid to lubricate the O-ring, but I don't have any on me. And all this fluid is in here anyway, and we're not gonna get all of it out, so it's not gonna hurt anything. I mean, I wouldn't go get old fluid. Oh, hey, there's oil behind that. I don't have a drain pan down here, so we're just gonna quickly, as you can see, the fluid lubricated the hole as I pulled it out, so it's already ready to go. There's a little spot right there where that tang on the back side of the filter there goes in that little hole. You just put it up there and press it in. Filter's changed. me get a rag and I'll wipe all this down, clean up that gasket surface, and we'll get our pan down here and put it back up. There is everything all wiped down. It's gonna drip, guys. I'm not gonna sit here for the next week and wipe the fluid off. You're not gonna get all the fluid out of this transmission without, I mean, the torque converter's full. So I just wiped it down, got the majority of it off, wiped all the surfaces down, got any crud that were on them off. There was a little bit back here from the magnet, so just pay attention to that. I'm gonna go ahead and put the pan back up now, and we'll fill it up with fluid and take it for a drive and see if it fixed our problem. So there it is. It's all reinstalled with a new gasket and a new filter. And when you're putting these bolts in, by the way, they're T27 Torx, if you wanted to know. See right there? That just has to bottom out. They're not head bolts. They don't have to be torqued to 1,000 foot-pounds. Just get them tight. I'm sure there's a torque spec if you want to look it up, but just remember, I mean, they don't need to be insanely tight. So that's it, all installed. If you're interested, I just used mineral spirits and a wire brush to clean the pan, then rinsed it off with brake cleaner. Like, it did a pretty good job. I mean, it doesn't look brand new, but it didn't take me very long either. So I'm gonna go back up top, pour some fluid in here till we get up to our 80 millimeter mark, and then we'll, so that's another thing, since it's doing it. The air conditioning, the condenser drips right there by the dipstick, and there's a technical service bulletin or one TSB or whatever it is. I don't know if you can see that or not. If you look right there, that's the dipstick, that little blurry looking bump on the side of the transmission there. And as you can see, the air conditioning drips right down on that, and apparently that is a place for water intrusion in these transmissions. So they recommend, the TSB recommends putting a little silicone up on top of that, and this one already has it, as near as I can feel. So I'm not going to mess with it, but something to look at if you're having that problem. Next, now that the pan's all back on, the filter's on, we just pour in our ATF plus 4. Of course, I'm going to use, oh no, it's not Mopar brand. It's Walmart brand. That's what I use. I use the oil in all my vehicles, and I use transmission fluid and everything that I put transmission fluid in. I haven't had no problems. Your mileage may vary, mine may change. So it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put 4 quarts in, because that seems to be the consensus on what it takes to start off with, and then we'll check it. Actually, to expand on my fluid choice here, I actually don't use SuperTech in everything. In my diesel truck, I use Rotella as my #1 choice and Dello as my 2nd choice, but to my knowledge, I haven't seen yet that SuperTech makes either of those, or diesel oil, I'm sorry. And on anything that I have that has a flat tappet camshaft, I also use Rotella as my primary choice and Dello as my secondary choice, because that's the cheapest way to get zinc. So yeah, I just thought I'd add that. I don't use SuperTech in everything. All right, time to go back to the dipstick that won't come into focus. I'm not gonna try to show you guys this time. I'm just gonna put it in there, push it down, bottom it out, pull it back out, and I can tell you guys, you can't see it, it's right about 90, probably close to 90, but there's some fluid that we did drain out that was not in the pan itself, and as you can see, or maybe you couldn't see, but I'm going to tell you, the valve body kind of hangs down in the pan, so it's not like it's a total fluid volume in the bottom of that pan. So I'm going to call that good, because it's roughly where it was. It needs to be checked the right way with temperature sender and all, and I'm going to do that. So for right now, I'm going to let this down. We're going to go drive it and see if it still has a shudder. I'll see you guys in a bit. I figured out how to duplicate it. I got to give it a little more throttle than I was this morning. All right, I don't know what happened there, but so what I'm saying is, once it starts doing it, if you floor it, it quits doing it, and to my mind, that is because the computer's unlocking the torque converter and downshifting kind of all at the same time. So I'm 99% sure that it is the lockup in the torque converter that's slipping. So I have another, I don't know, trick solution that I'm going to try. And we'll talk about that once we get back to the house. So we got one more chance right here on this hill. I'm going to try to get it to do it pretty bad here and show you what I'm talking about. It's bad enough it kind of shakes the whole car, so if it does it, you'll know. Nope, it downshifted. I got on the throttle too hard. So we're going about 50 miles an hour, and as I just ease into the throttle, you can hear it, and it's not, it gets to the point where it just does that continuously, that kind of stutter. That's the best way I can explain it. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, so it might be audio only, who knows. I'm getting ready to head to work, and I just wanted to show you guys. I'm going to go ahead and dump this into the transmission on the Magnum. This is the other possible way to fix that torque converter slip, and then I'll try to set the camera up on my way to work and see if we can get a video of how it looks. There's a pretty good hill on the way that if it's going to slip, I should be able to get it to slip there. So the first bottle of differential treatment doesn't seem to have helped. I'm going to stop on my way home and grab a second bottle and see if that helps. We got a second bottle of that limited slip differential treatment in there, and we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully it takes care of our problem here. We're sitting here while it's quiet. I'll go ahead and talk to you now. I don't think it's helping. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was gonna help. I've heard lots of people that say that it helps. I say that I've read on forums where a lot of people have done it and it's helped, but I don't know, it was worth a shot. Next step is take it to a shop and have them do a full transmission flush. Don't regret doing the service on it myself first. I got to see what was inside the pen firsthand, and I also got to change the filter myself. Probably would have been better off just to take it to a shop and have them do the transmission flush to start with, but I wanted to try this first and see if I could fix it myself. I don't have the tools to do a full transmission flush. You have to have a special machine, and I don't have one, and I'm not going to buy one because it's just not feasible for me to own it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. At least now you know how to change and service a NAG1 transmission. I'll probably be a while before I take this in to a shop to have them flush the transmission. So if for some reason it gets better over the next couple days or weeks as I drive it more, I'll post that in the comments and let you guys know. If you've done this, if you've had this problem and you've fixed it some other way besides a full transmission flush, post it down in the comments and let me know what you did, and maybe I'll try that next. I hope you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. It's been a couple days since that last clip was recorded, and I'll be honest, it seems like the transmission problem is going away, so I'll keep you guys posted in the next couple weeks as to what happens.